First topic we are going to discuss is Tableau paradigm. So Tableau is using a language named Visual Query language. So short form of that is VisQL. Okay. So this is the language used by Tableau. So whenever you are just dragging and dropping some fields, so what it does is, so this will be creating some script regarding your the actions you are doing. So if, for example, if you are dragging and dropping some field category in row, and if you are dragging and dropping sum of sales in columns, so what it does is, so this QL will be automatically writing some script. For example, so if your data, you are connecting to a data source, for the time being, let's assume that you are connected to a database, SQL database. Okay, so you can connect to any data source. You can connect to an Excel file, you can connect to a text file, you can connect to various servers, cloud-based servers, or various servers, or various databases. Okay, so for time being, let's assume that you are just connecting to a data source in a database. Okay, so what it does is, so you are connecting to an SQL database. Let's assume that. So what it does is, so when you are dragging the field sales and category in the view, so this QL Tableau, it will be automatically writing some script, and Tableau will be automatically translate that into SQL query language. Okay, so whatever database you are using, so it will be automatically translating it into that particular query language. Initially, when you are just dragging some fields for visualization, so what Tableau does is, so by means of this QL, an automatic script will be generated. That script will be automatically converted to that particular query language. For example, if you are using an SQL database, your script will be converted to SQL. Or if you are using Microsoft, so whatever servers or whatever databases you are using, it will be automatically converted to that particular query language, and it will be given to the data source. Okay, so if you consider SQL data source, so a query has to be written. So if you want to select a particular field named category, and if you want to get the sum of sales of that category, a query should be written. So from that table, it has to select that category, and for those category, so it has to perform some aggregation functions, function named sum of sales. So after performing, so when a query is given to the data source, the aggregated results will be given back to Tableau. So that will be displayed as the visualization. Okay, so this is the general thing taking place. So whenever you are dragging and dropping some fields, so SQL will be writing some script, automatically creating a script regarding the fields which you have selected. So, and those script will be automatically converted to the query language. So based on the data source you are using, it will be converted, and finally the aggregated results will be given back to the Tableau. So this is, so for example, let's consider, so for time being, consider you are using an sample superstore data. So for the time being, just consider you are just connected to the SQL Server database. You are not directly getting it from an Excel file. So instead of getting from an Excel file, assume that you are just connected to the sample data store, so which is stored in the SQL Server database. Okay, so what it does is, so you are just placing region in the columns, and you are placing sum of sales in the rows. So what it does is, Tableau generates a VisQL, that is Visual Query Language script. So it generates a script. So it will be converted to, translated to SQL script. So since you are using SQL Server database, so your script will be converted to SQL script, and it will be sent to the SQL Server. Okay. So the SQL Server will evaluate the query, and it will be returning the aggregate results. So here what you need is, so sales data will be present in your data source. So aggregation of the sales, that is sum of the sales has to be calculated. So once the aggregated results are calculated, it will be returned back to the Tableau. Okay. So let's see this diagram. So is it visible for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So what we are doing is, so just we are dragging the region, just we are dragging the region in the columns and sum of sales in the rows. Okay, so Viscure will be writing automatically creating some script that will be translated to your SQL language. So in SQL language, so your query will be something like this: select superstore data. So from superstore data, you have to select the region. So as then you have to perform the sum of sales from the superstore data. Okay. So we have to group by region. So this is an example of an SQL query for getting the region sum of sales of region. Okay. So after getting this query, so when the SQL server gets the query, so it performs the aggregation results. So your aggregation results will be like this. So for getting the sum of sales for each region, so your aggregated results will be like this. So we are having 4 different regions. So for 4 different regions, the sales value, sum of your sales value will be given. So this will be given back to Tableau and the results will be displayed. Okay. So this is how working of data takes place in Tableau. Okay. So now what you can do is, so if you want to see this aggregated results, so what you can do is, so whenever you are doing some visualization, you can just uh, press Control A. That is, you can select all the segments. So in this analysis, what we have done is, so we have just doing the analysis for region-wise sales. So you will be getting a bar chart with 4 different regions. So what you can do is, so you can just click Control A, or you can select all the bars and you can right click. So if you right clicking this, you can just view the aggregated results. So this is the aggregated result returned by your database, sorry, your data source to the tab. So I'm just connecting to the sample superstore Excel file. So let me place the region in the columns and sales in the rows, sum of sales. Okay, so what I can do is I can just press Control A. So if I press Control A, now all the bars are selected. Okay, so or you can just manually just click this and select. Okay, either you can press Control A and select it, or just you can drag and drop, sorry, drag all the bars and you can just select it. So now if you right click this, so you can get an option as view data. Okay, so if you just click this view data, you'll be getting an option as, so you can see, okay, you can see 2 options in the left down. So a summary, an option named summary, an option named full data. So if you just click the summary, you can just get the aggregated results. So for each region, what is the aggregated results? What's the sum of sales for each different region? So this is the result which is returned by your data source. Okay. So if you want to view the full data, you can just click this full data. So your entire data will be viewed here.